expectations and aspirations of our people in the 21st century. We are well aware of the transformative changes that have taken place in India Bangladesh relations under the visionary leadership of our prime ministers. In the last decade, we have made unprecedented progress in advancing our relations. And one of the key manifestations of that transformation has been the growth in our trade and economic engagement and our connectivity links. As India and Bangladesh continue to take strides towards greater economic capabilities, with Bangladesh aspiring to become an upper middle income country by 2031 and a developed country by 2041, and with India focused on joining the ranks of developed countries by 2047, the year when we turn 100 as an independent nation. There are new opportunities that will emerge for our cooperation based on our new capabilities and our new aspirations. And I think discussions like these help us in channelizing, understanding those opportunities where we can work together. On the trade front, of course, we all know we have come a long way. Today, Bangladesh is our largest trade partner in the region, fifth largest partner in the world. In the last 5 years, our bilateral trade has grown from $7 billion to over $15 billion. India has given duty-free, quota-free access to Bangladesh under SAFTA for a decade now, for all goods. And India is today actually the largest destination in Asia for Bangladesh's exports, averaging over $1 billion a year for the last more than 4 years, and now it has crossed $2 billion mark. As Bangladesh makes the important economic graduation to a middle income country in 2026, we look at Bangladesh as an even more valuable partner. And in order to leverage the economic opportunities that will come from this transformation and this transformation in the economies of both India and Bangladesh, we have decided that we will launch a negotiation for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, CEPA, through which we hope that both countries will be able to harness each other's growing potential to mutual benefit. Another initiative which was mentioned is the recent launch of the part of our bilateral trade in Indian rupees, which we hope will provide a new boost to our trade partnership, and a measure which we hope will encourage and motivate Bangladeshi exporters to look at India with greater motivation, with greater purpose in order to make this rupee trade a bigger success. We are also keen to achieve better harmonization of standards between our two countries that can facilitate smoother movement of goods and services. Investment relations are also growing. We have registered investment of over $3 billion in Bangladesh, and over $10 billion proposals are in pipeline. India is establishing two Indian economic zones, one in Mirsaram and another in Mongla, and we hope that with the establishment of these economic zones, investments from India will become even more robust. Today, we all know we live in an interconnected world with growing focus on economic integration. Our own South Asian region has long been regarded as among the less connected worlds. However, we are beginning to bridge this connectivity gap, particularly with Bangladesh, with a contiguous geography and keen desire on both sides to bring our economies and our people closer together. We are looking at connectivity as both a shared aspiration as well as a driver of our future partnership. Bangladesh is also our largest development partner in the world, with concessional financing of nearly $10 billion, which have been committed by government the lines of credit, and other programs for different projects in Bangladesh. And many of these projects that we are undertaking in Bangladesh have an important connectivity dimension. They are contributing to building better connectivity between our two countries in one way or the other. Our connectivity logic is simple. How do we transform our geographical proximity into new economic opportunities for our people? I think that's the logic and the motivation for our connectivity initiatives. New economic opportunities that will benefit not just our two countries but also the entire region. Today, our connectivity landscape with Bangladesh is fast changing. We have restored five of the seven pre-1965 railway linkages, which are carrying passengers and goods across the border on a regular basis. We have taken some important steps to improve cross-border trade and immigration infrastructure that would facilitate easier flow of goods and people. Today, almost 40 to 50% of our bilateral trade and a significant portion of our people-to-people movement are channeled through 36 land customs stations, five of which have been upgraded to the level of integrated checkposts, and a number of others are in the pipeline for upgradation. So we really hope to take our border trade infrastructure to a very modern state-of-the-art level, and we are working towards it to ensure that this actually becomes a reality. Our focus is clearly on augmenting multimodal connectivity, which includes road and rail, inland waterways, and also coastal shipping. The power of river to connect our two countries has been mentioned. We have this protocol on inland waterway trade and transit, which is now one of the mainstays of our the architecture that we have available for bilateral trade and commerce. We need to make it more robust so that we can utilize the power of river more efficiently as a connectivity channel between us. We had some very encouraging initiatives recently taken. For example, the Ganga Vilas cruise that Dr. Rahman mentioned about actually proved very successful in showing the ways to turning our rivers into channels for tourism and people-to-people exchanges. Given the geographical proximity of northeastern states of India with Bangladesh, I think this was discussed in some detail today. Connectivity with Northeast clearly brings mutual benefit to both sides and is a natural focus of our efforts. Chattogram and the larger eastern region of Bangladesh become quite important in this context. There are a number of connectivity projects which are focused on linking our northeastern states with eastern Bangladesh as part of our development cooperation. If you look at projects like Damgarh to Bariarhat road upgradation project, the Ashuganj, Sarail, Dhaka, Akhora road port, Akhora Nagport highway project, the Ashuganj inland container river port itself, the Akhora Agartala cross border rail line project, and Bomila Brahmanbaria Sarail road project, and so on and so forth. All these are essentially helping us connect our northeast with this region. We are also hoping that one of these, the Khora Agartala project, will be completed very soon and will actually start transiting goods across the border and people across the border using railway connection. We also have the India-Bangladesh Maitri Setu over River Feni, which was inaugurated by our two prime ministers in March 2021, and we are hoping that it will become a major link for movement of goods and passengers once the Ramgarh Sabroom land customs station is operationalized and we are working with Bangladesh side to ensure that that happens quickly. All these projects are expected to augment rail, road, riverine, and port-based connectivity between the eastern part of Bangladesh and India's northeast, thereby boosting people-to-people, cultural, trade, and commercial links. We have also agreed to expedite and explore direct shipping links between our two countries. We already have a bilateral coastal shipping agreement, and we want to make more use of it so that we can use shipping channels for promoting our trade. That will also help us decongest our land border stations, the land customs stations. And I think coastal shipping really offers us the advantage of economy of scale. And this is an area where we are really keen to give full play to the role of Chattogram port in making more robust connection between our two countries. We are keen to offer our Indian ports also to act as a transshipment hub for Chattogram port so that it can expand its cargo movement to Bangladesh's key markets in far-flung geographies, including to Europe and elsewhere. Another important connectivity link for our northeastern states with Bangladesh is the agreement on the use of Chattogram and Mongla ports, whereby goods can be transported to India's northeastern region from the rest of India and vice versa through these two ports in Bangladesh. While for us, it of course gives us the advantage of reduced time and cost for transportation to our northeastern states. For Bangladesh, this arrangement stands to generate revenue and create significant economic gains for the transport, logistics, and insurance industry, which will facilitate this transhipment. After 4 trial runs last year, a standing order was issued by the National Board of Revenue of Bangladesh recently, and it has now formalized movement of goods under this agreement. I would urge our businesses on both sides to make best use of this new mechanism. As we all talked about, given the geographical proximity with the northeastern states of India, Bangladesh is in the best position to tap the economic potential of our northeast. Just as we look to improve connectivity of our northeastern states through Bangladesh, we are also encouraging transit facilities for Bangladesh to export its products to third countries through specified land customs stations, airports, and seaports in India. A recent initiative in this regard is the addition of Kolkata and Delhi airports as transshipment hubs for export cargo from Bangladesh to third countries. This will give Bangladesh's businesses more options for export to third countries. Another example of how our connectivity links stand to benefit Bangladesh is the new SOP that we are working on, under which railway containers bringing goods from India can be backfilled or backloaded with Bangladeshi exports while returning to India. We talked about infrastructure development in both our countries, how the connectivity infrastructure is becoming such a crucial part of our bilateral exchanges. And here I would like to very briefly mention the Indian experience of and Indian initiatives that we have taken in building infrastructure. One of them is what is called Gati Shakti, which is an initiative which has been launched by our Prime Minister in 2021. It is essentially about developing multimodal infrastructure through an integrated planning for infrastructure development. It actually looks at several things in a comprehensive way, in an integrated way, such as the last mile connectivity, how to improve logistics efficiency. It uses master plans, it uses geospatial tools, the actual maps of the areas showing utilities, other infrastructure which are there. And this has really got integrated into a single tool whereby in developing or conceptualizing any infrastructure development, we can look at what else is happening around it. and then try to build the best possible model for developing that infrastructure. We are, for example, dealing with the ROW issues, the right of way issues, where there are multiple projects which are taking space for each other. Preparing DPR has become much more simpler when we are using these kind of tools. We are able to actually plan and do things for environmental protection by fixing alignments of roads and rails in an integrated way. So we are minimizing repetitions, we are adding efficiency to our operations, and also when the time taken for executing projects has significantly come down. So essentially, a better harmonization of plans and efficiency of execution of project in an integrated way for the multimodal connectivity is what we are trying to achieve through this. Now, why I'm saying this is essentially this is a model which is available, which we have developed and which we are using at such a large scale in India, and we are willing to share that with Bangladesh. So that is something that can actually help Bangladesh also to look at its own model of having an integrated multimodal connectivity database based on spatial maps and their own national master plans. So this is an area that possibly we can work on as we go ahead developing our connectivity infrastructure. Our connectivity links with Bangladesh clearly are not limited to trade and transport. We are now also building energy connectivity in a big way. A new cross-border diesel pipeline that we launched earlier this year, bringing high-speed diesel from an Indian refinery to Bangladesh, and the cross-border power transmission lines, including the facilitation of power transmission from Nepal to Bangladesh through India. All these are examples of how our growing energy connectivity is leading to creation of a true regional economy. I think energy connectivity is actually, when you reach energy connectivity, you can actually raise the level of sophistication of your economic integration. And I think we are moving in that direction. We are also exploring new high capacity synchronous grid connection between India and Bangladesh that can revolutionize intra-regional electricity trade and enable Bangladesh to take advantage of cheaper electricity options, including renewable energy from India and other developing countries. Digital connectivity was talked about, and I was asked that I should talk more about what we are doing in India and what we can do with Bangladesh. I think clearly digital connectivity is a very important emerging dimension of our connectivity agenda, one which is going to be increasingly important in our future connectivity discussions. We are building IT high-tech park in 12 districts of Bangladesh under our development cooperation program, including one very close to this place in Chandgam, which I'm going to lay the foundation stone for tomorrow morning. There's an example of digital connectivity, but one important point that Dr. Rahman mentioned is how we are connecting our startup communities. Now, startup communities actually, is at the cutting edge of many positive factors: the youth, the entrepreneurial spirit, the innovative spirit, and of course the high-tech part. So when you bring startups closer together, you are actually touching so many important parts of our future economy. And that's an area that we have really put a lot of emphasis on. We are creating new platforms to connect our startup communities to promote collaboration in digitization, innovation, and entrepreneurship. During the Bangladesh Startup Summit you mentioned, which was held in July in Dhaka, Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh inaugurated an India-Bangladesh startup bridge, which will provide an institutional gateway for our startup communities to engage closely with each other, to explore knowledge sharing, niche markets, and business collaborations. So that's an area where we are working very closely with each other. We are also keen to share with Bangladesh our experience and template for financial inclusion through our homegrown digital backbone known as the India Stack. Again, this is something that I was asked to give some detailed to, so I would like to mention to you in some detail about what we are doing for this financial inclusion. I think financial inclusion is actually one of India's most transformative successes of recent times. We are actually, we have become from being world's most unbanked country to today one of the most banked country. And what I'm saying is essentially how many people are actually they hold bank accounts, how many people are today part of the formal financial system. And in the last 9 years, just to give you an idea of how this financial inclusion has worked, over 500 million people, which is more than the population of the entire European Union, who were earlier excluded from the financial system, have been brought into this system by new bank accounts. And nearly $25 billion have been transferred as direct benefit to them. So that really shows you the power of digital technology in building connectivity, building financial inclusion. And this has been made possible by our digital backbone, which is known as India's Stamp. Similarly, our homegrown digital payment platform, which is the Unified Payment Interface, UPI, has revolutionized digital transactions in India. And this has taken our financial inclusion to the extent where nearly 45% of world's real-time digital payments in India, 45% of global real-time digital payments are today taking place in India. More than $100 billion transactions, 100 billion numbers of transactions which are happening every month. It's really making India one of the world leaders in digital transactions. So we are clearly moving and we are determined to move towards a digital economy and a cashless society. Many experts believe that despite intersecting crises like COVID-19, climate change, and the Ukraine conflict that have affected the development goals, sustainable development goals of countries around the world, India has held its course and performed better than many others, largely due to its achievements in financial inclusion and creation of unique digital public goods. This has also triggered a new wave of innovation in India, and we were talking about startups. You can judge it by the fact that in India in 2016 there were just 445 startups. Today they exceed 100,000. These include 108 unicorns. Unicorns are startups which turn $1 billion worth of value. Their total valuation today is more than $400 billion. And during the pandemic year of 2021-22 alone, 65 unicorns were formed in India worth 120 billion. This is a great example of how digital connectivity can not just bring about financial inclusion, but prove helpful in connecting our society and economy. We are keen to explore linkages between our digital payment platforms. In India's case, it is UPI, and in Bangladesh's case, it's Minimum, what we're going to launch. These can really significantly advance the financial inclusion agenda in both our countries, better linkages. Another practical example of digital connectivity that would directly benefit our businesses, and that was again talked about in some of the discussions today, is our effort to introduce an e-channeling system, which was essentially allow real-time documentation in order to add greater efficiency in cargo clearances and increasing throughput of vehicles. We are trying to do this at Petrapur Benapur checkpost, but we hope that in the future the success of this effort can be replicated at other land ports as well. Besides focusing on larger projects of economic linkages, I always want to mention that we also underline the importance of connecting local economies. These economies which are in remote border areas, which are not connected with the economic mainstream, geographical constraints. And I think it is important that we also include them in our connectivity agenda. And we are linking them by setting up border hubs, which bring these local communities closer on both sides, taking advantage of their local economic complementarities. So far, 7 border hubs have been set up in areas bordering Meghalaya and Tripura, and there is demand for more, so we are planning for more such border hubs. One issue which was raised was about visa. Clearly, people-to-people connection is one of the, is at the heart of everything that we are talking. Connectivity is about connecting people at the end of the day, and we really want to make this as easy for people to be able to exchange visits, to be able to travel to India for tourism, for medical, for education, and for all sorts of purposes. And I think this is an area where the whole issue needs to be put in perspective. In last financial year, our financial year, April 22 to March 23, we issued more than 15 lakh visas. Now, this is a number which is clearly, I think, makes us easily the world's largest embassy high commission to be issuing this kind of number. It does, put some pressure on the processing load that, processing capacity that we have, but we are trying our best. We are trying to improve the services, we are trying to make it a better experience for you to get a visa. We have recently introduced an appointment system, which is bringing greater predictability about when you can have to visit the visa application center. We have also increased the number of visa application centers. We have added a few recently, a total of 16 IVACs across Bangladesh. Now, the appointment system has, of course, brought certain predictability and ease of, your experience and a better experience when you visit IBAC. You have your time, you are attended to without any delay. You don't have to stand in the queue, you don't have to brave heat and rain, which used to be the case when you had long queues outside IBAC. So the whole idea was to make it a better experience for users or for visitors from Bangladesh. Now that has also created, some delay in the times that you get, the slots that you get for reading that advice. Now we understand that, but we also have, now put an advisory that, if you have a emergency, if you need expedited services, there is an email given there whereby you can actually write to us with your supporting documents explaining the emergency, and we'll be very happy to expedite those visas based on the emergency. So all the situations where the student is going to start academic year or academic session at a certain date, or a business person has to go to attend a meeting, an important business meeting, or somebody has to go to attend a conference which is going to happen on a certain date, or there is a medical emergency. Of course, medical emergency is something that we leave everything out to attend to. Medical emergency is the most important, most prioritized part of our visa applications, and any case of medical emergency that comes to our attention, we attend to without any delay. But that also means that tourist visas require longer time process, because there is that much less urgency associated with tourism. So, the whole idea that why I'm explaining to you with this detail is that we are trying to actually work towards a better and more convenient arrangement for you to have visas to travel to India. We want that number to move. We want the visas to become a a strong tool for our people-to-people exchanges. So I hope that you will understand. And as Dr. Rahman mentioned, you really have to see where we were, where we are, in terms of numbers that we are dealing with, in terms of the conveniences that we are giving to business seekers. So rest assured that that's something that we will continue to make it. And we have our ANC here, our Assistant High Commission deals with all the local visa issues. Please bring it to their attention wherever there is an urgency or there is an improvement that you expect. Please bring it to our attention. After all, this is all your feedback streamlining these processes. So in summing up, I would underline that geographical proximity to India and Bangladesh is our biggest advantage and must be leveraged for mutual benefit. Better connectivity is of course central to improving ease of doing business, but they are also central to improving ease of living, which are both key priorities of our current leaderships. Studies have indicated that seamless transport connectivity between India and Bangladesh has the potential to increase national income by as much as 17% for Bangladesh and 8% for India. Bangladesh's exports to India could increase by 300% connectivity improves, along with trade and transport regulations and infrastructure. A very important point is, I think this is a point I would like to underline. Is that both our economies have grown at high rates in the last 10 years, coinciding with the same period during which our connectivity, infrastructure, and processes have improved significantly. Now, this clearly shows that greater interlinkage between our economies have rewarded and reinforced our growth. So, there is an empirical proof for us that our economies have done well and we have connected better with each other. And I think we must continue to leverage this, must continue to leverage each other's strengths, give full play to our comparative advantages, and strive for greater cooperation, greater integration, and greater connectivity. You mentioned 3 Ts. I often mention 3 Cs. So it's connectivity, commerce, and collaboration. And I think the 3 Cs actually is the mantra for taking forward our relationship. Before I conclude, as I always do, I do reiterate that India and Bangladesh share a unique and special relationship that is unlike any other bilateral relations. It is more than a strategic partnership. Our ties are linked by shared history, shared geography, language, culture, and a deep mutual empathy. They are based on shared values and interests and mutual respect. But most importantly, our friendship is rooted in our shared sacrifices of 1971 liberation. It is etched in the blood of those sacrifices. I think that really makes this relationship truly very, very special. And all of us, an important stakeholder, to take forward that relationship in the same spirit of 1971 for which those sacrifices were made by our forefathers. So I think Dr. Rahman said that I should say something in Bangla before I come through. So let me say in my broken Bangla, আমাদের বন্ধুত্ব 1971 সালে মুক্তিযুদ্ধের যে 9 আমাদের connectivity initiatives, আমাদের জনগণের এবং আমাদের future generation কল্যাণের জন্য এই চেতনা আমরা বাস্তবায়ন করছি। भारत बांग्लादेश